Now, the following situation that I will describe might be something that you have experienced as a language learner as well. You have been studying rigorously and you're feeling quite good about your progress, and you feel that you might even be ready to have a real conversation with a foreigner. And then if you get into the situation, you will listen to the reply that the person gives you and you will understand that I didn't get any of the words because the sentence was just so fast. Yes, indeed. That happens with all language learners, and indeed, there are languages that are especially fast spoken, and in this video we will explore some of them. Now, the simple answer to this question is yes. Some languages indeed have a higher syllable per second rate, so it means that you would say more syllables in a single second. But there are different aspects of it, of how we perceive if a language is fast spoken or not. Now, the first thing that we need to point out is that the perception of how fast spoken a specific language is mainly connected to the fact of how advanced are you in this specific language. Now, for example, if you have never learned Spanish and you would listen to the Spanish radio, you would be quite confused because this one long word that these people are saying in the radio is actually different words and sentences, but it just sounds like a single long unending word. Now, this all boils down to the fact that all languages have their own sequences and all kinds of little other attributes, and if your ears are not accustomed to something, then it will sound faster for you because you perceive it to be faster. That's, by the way, one of the things that I always recommend to the Speakly learners as well. So, for example, if you are learning a fast-paced language like Spanish, then daily listening is especially crucial for you because the more you listen to the Speakly listening exercises, the less fast you will perceive the Spanish language to be. So we have hundreds of cases and examples like that from learners who felt the same way, but then after a month or two listening the listening exercises daily, they are giving us feedback that, oh, now the language seems slower. Are your exercises slower somehow or something like that? But indeed, their own perception of the language got slower thanks to being accustomed to the pace of the language. Another theory, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, is that indeed we can differentiate languages based on how many syllables are said in a second in this specific language. Another really cool differentiation that linguistics shows us, there is a theory that we can distinguish two types of languages, which are machine gun rhythmed and Morse code rhythmed languages. So, for example, English is a Morse code rhythmed language. Without going more deep into it, Spanish is a machine gun rhythm language, and for a Morse code rhythm language speaker, it will sound faster. They will perceive it faster. But that said, the easiest way to differentiate between languages and how fast spoken they are is the syllables per second measurement. Unfortunately, there isn't a lot of research related to, which languages are spoken faster or perceived faster. There is indeed one very well-known study from about 10 years ago, which looked at 7 languages and differentiated of, how fast spoken they are. But, 7 languages is not such a big cohort of languages to study, but it's something. And based on that study, Japanese was the fastest spoken language with 7.84 syllables per second. Spanish being a close second with 7.82 syllables per second. French being third with 7.18 syllables per second, and so forth. There have been some other studies that looked a larger cohort of languages as well, but if you take into account that there are around 7,000 languages on planet Earth, then researching 7 or 10 or 20 languages doesn't give the full truth to the matter. But to simplify, we can give you a list that, these are the most fast spoken languages on planet Earth, which actually probably is not true. But that's the best that we got. So in the order of how fast-paced some languages are, I'll give you the top 10. Number 1, Japanese. Number 2, Spanish. Number 3, Basque. Number 4, Finnish. Number 5, Italian. Number 6, Serbian. Number 7, Korean. Number 8, Catalan. Number 9, Turkish. And number 10, French. Also, as you might imagine, somebody who speaks very fast will speak any of these languages much faster than the average person. So it depends on the person and how fast they are speaking. But, this list gives you an idea of how an average person would express these languages. Now, to summarize this very difficult topic, researchers have also thought about, different ways of how to understand if some language is faster than another language. And there is a theory of how much information a language would give per second. But to simplify it, the results have been lackluster in a way that languages convey a similar amount of information when they are expressed. And really the best way to distinguish if one language is faster than the other is the syllables per second rate. But if some languages are faster spoken, it doesn't mean that they are better or more efficient. Some slower paced languages might be much more deep in their expression, and there might be much more other perceivable value in how the language is spoken. But to simplify, we can say that, languages like Japanese and Spanish are indeed the fastest spoken ones.